Good afternoon, members of the media. Well, I think we've been preparing very well. Everyone at training has been looking very sharp, and I think we've been saying we want to play finals. Now we're very grateful for the opportunity of playing in the final. And yeah, I think we're all just looking forward into the final on Saturday.
Just to add on what Lebza said, I think everyone is excited, and every season we set goals for ourselves, and I think this is one way we can actually achieve. So we're looking forward to the final, and hopefully we win. I think yeah, we're very much aware of their run and their qualities, and just this morning briefly we did videos about them and then try to see what we can exploit about them. But yeah, we'll definitely give them the respect they deserve, but I think it's the finals are very tricky, so we're also going to have to bring our A game to make sure that we win the trophy. So it's going to be a very tough one.
Just to reiterate on what Mosa is saying, it's always difficult playing with such teams, but we're very fortunate that we were able to analyze a bit in the morning, as he said. But with all the respect, we also have to know that we are Mamelodi Sundowns, and we've got a responsibility to the team. We definitely know that it's not going to be an easy game. We have to give them the respect, as Mosa said. But yeah, we also, I mean, it's every player's dream to play in a cup final, and once we're there, we always say we might just go all the way and win the cup final. Coming to such a big team as Mamelodi Sundowns, you know that we've got like a lot of other top quality players, but I think for me, it has always been why I started playing football. It has always been the dreams that I had and what I wanted to accomplish. It hasn't been an easy journey, but now getting more game time, I think also it comes down to me taking care of myself, like on the field and outside of the pitch. Knowing that I'm not getting any younger, getting that extra massage if I have to, taking, we've got pools here, we've got masseuse that I can use in the team as well, just taking a lot more care of my body than I used to before. I think, this season, knowing that we're going to the Club World Cup also next year, so the coach wants to give everyone a chance, to be on the field of play and to show their qualities, and I think it also, it's all in our hands, to take that opportunity and to showcase our talents as well. Because as I said before, if you ask any footballer where they enjoy being, is being on the field of play. So having that opportunity and being able to express your talent, what more can you ask for than being on the field of play?
I think it's a blessing and a curse at the same time, because sometimes it's just when so many changes happen, you feel like the team loses a bit of cohesion. But as a player, those are the moments where you have to raise your hand and show the coach that you can trust me the next one. So I think we're very fortunate in that aspect. So yeah, we have to just take it with both hands and run away with it. Yeah, it's always good to kill the game early, but I think the most important one would be the rest defense. I think you see when they break out, they make sure that they isolate the defenders. So I think the rest defense is going to come in handy, and we make sure that we don't lose balls in dangerous areas, and play our normal game. Try to make them run, rotate the ball from side to side, and at the right time attack, or maybe go direct. So I think it's we'll have to hear from the coach what's the game plan. But from our side as the defenders, what we've noticed is the rest defense. So that part we've already started talking about it, how we're gonna solve the rest defense and make sure that we have either the midfield in front of us or extra fullback. So that's what we're gonna do.
Complacency and, you know, thinking that it's like that we deserve to win the final. You know, I think we have to go with the mentality that, you know, we know it's not going to be an easy game, but also sticking to our own guns and, you know, as Mosa said, you know, not giving away position in areas where they might hurt us in. You know, we know they've got especially on their left side, we know that they've got, that's the side that they use for most of their transitions, you know, so we need to guard against that.
Yeah, I think it will be suicidal of us to think that they're a small team. I think them being in the final, I mean, speaks volume. So we have to give them respect. I mean, we have to acknowledge what they've done to get to the final. So we have to respect them and at the same time not to neglect the quality that we have. So we go in there gun blazing and make sure that we put the hand on the throat.
We send our deepest, most heartfelt condolences to his family. You know, we wish that he rests in peace. You know, and losing such an icon that has been there in our games, you know, it's not nice. It's a very sad feeling, you know. But yeah, we just send our deepest, most heartfelt condolences to his family.
It's a very sad day, man. So unfortunately, we got to meet him. I mean, he's been to a couple of our games, and yeah, he was such a gentleman. So condolences to his family, and yeah.
I think Bloem is like the atmosphere is just different. They sing from the beginning of the game till the end. We even saw during our last game against Gallants, you know, playing in such a packed stadium is always gives you goosebumps. You know, it's always a nice feeling to have. You know, it's a province where football is supported a lot. You know, and playing in such a stadium is always nice. It's a very good feeling.
It's a bit personal because it's a home province and my parents are always there. So, but like what Lebusa said, like the last game we played there, the supporters were just amazing. I mean, from both sides, the Sundowns and the Gallants supporters, the stadium was just loud, and that's those are the kind of games that we want to play. So it's an amazing atmosphere to play.
My sincere condolences to the 𝘾𝙍𝙍𝙁 family. I think he's one of the greatest legends in our country. It's important to acknowledge the big contribution that he had in our football, to lay a stage for people like us to have an opportunity to coach at this level. So as a club, we are sincerely touched by the situation, because he is an icon within our club, within our city, and it's important to pass our sincere condolences. With regard to the preparations for the match, I think in the absence of the best, I would say the preparations are going very well, because we don't have the whole squad. In our match day -3 training session, because of their involvement in the international activities. But we are not blaming anyone for that, because I don't think it's the coach's fault. I think it's just something that we must accept as it is, because there is nothing much we can do about it. So with the group that we have, I think the preparations have gone well. The players look eager and interested to take part in this important match, and I think everything is going according to plan. Thank you. I wouldn't want to blame their coaches and the national teams because believe you me, if I was a national team coach, I would have used my best players yesterday. Because you want to build on that winning momentum. You want to make sure that you don't start opening cracks within your team and people start to see some of your shortcomings when some of the players are not there. So it's something that is very difficult to ask of any coach to not use his team in an important fixture that is in front of so many people watching. So it is unfortunate, but personally, I would just say I think there is nothing wrong to play league matches after the FIFA break, because we've got maybe 3 days, 4 days after that, but it's just that a cup final immediately after the FIFA break, it's for me suicidal. And worse to a club like ours. But having said that, I'm not leveling this to the PSL, because the PSL did not know that Sundowns will be in the final of this competition, and I think the dates were brought up prior to us qualifying for the final. So it is just unfortunate that it happens to be us who are in that cup final. And I'm just thinking if it was South Africa that was playing Cameroon yesterday, where Divine Lunga is, because Divine Lunga will only be back in the country on Thursday morning. And when would he train with the team and be able to play in a cup final? So based on that, I think in future it would be important just to try and avoid having a cup final or cup matches immediately after the FIFA break, because I think it causes unnecessary commotion. But like I said, the PSL in this case did not know Sundowns will be in the final, and we cannot blame them for us being in the final. But I'm just saying, for anyone else that would be in the final and having a lot of players in the national teams, and maybe Cameroon is an even better route, because if it was probably a Morocco or something, you would come maybe to South Africa on Friday morning and you are playing a cup final on Saturday. It's just not ideal. Yeah, it requires a very big paradigm shift, because in our society we have accepted that after you have taken a lead, probably it's an opportunity for showboating and doing all these tricks, and it's acceptable in the society. Everybody thinks you have done enough when you have won the match and you have also had some nice tricks and made fools of the opponents. But personally, I regard opponents as opponents and as not as enemies. And as opponents, I always believe you want to beat your opponent so that next time he knows who are you, not as an enemy, but as an opponent. No, I don't want to make a laughing stock of you. You'll see most of my players, they hardly do all these tricks after we've taken a lead, because I can substitute you immediately. Because for me, what excites me is to see the ball touching the net. I like that. And I've always been like that from time immemorial. I think the reason why I became a football coach is because I want to influence a team to try and create a lot of scoring opportunities and score a lot of goals. And I get excited when a game has got a lot of goals. No matter how good the game can be sometimes, because I've been in football for so many years where you can dominate the game and look so good, everybody's excited, you were leading 1-0, last minute the opponent scores, it's 1-1. And then what? So for me, goals are the determining factor on the result. And thus, we should be targeting to make sure that we play to score as many goals. And if we say we are better than the opponent, it's because we can score more than them. I don't think possession is enough without creating a lot of scoring opportunities, because when you look at that possession, sometimes it's in all the wrong areas. You had so much possession because the opponents were sitting deep and you were playing in front of them and enjoying all the time having as many passes in front of them. But that does not mean you manage to break down their strategy that they had brought up to make sure that they don't concede a lot of goals. And when as a coach, you must say, what did I bring to try and make sure that even when they were trying to put a low block or whatever, I still managed to force my way and score as many goals as possible. We did get feedback on Motobi, just an injury in the hand. It's not something that can take him out from playing in the final. And as for the national team qualifying for AFCON again in such a very pleasing manner, I think I'm very excited, and any South African that would not be excited with what is happening with the national team now, there would be something wrong with that person. Because at the moment, I think we've reached a stage where we can be confident and brag about our national team, because they are really, really giving the nation exactly what the nation would have required from them. They are scoring goals, they are winning matches convincingly, and personally, I think I'm very excited with what the national team is doing and with what Coach 𝘾𝙉𝙍 has also done, because I think he has faced a lot of criticism in the past when people did not understand what he was trying to do. But I think he has proven so many people wrong, and sometimes in life you must accept that it's God's way. You know, sometimes God, when he wants to put you in the podium, he does not want you to be at the podium and there is no spectators. But sometimes when you face all these trials and tribulations and people doubting the capacity of 𝘾𝙉𝙍, and when he does what he does, now everybody becomes the audience. And we must applaud the work that he has done with the team, because he's come from a position where not many people thought he would do so much. And it's exciting. Personally, I would not want to be feared before the fight. Personally, that's how I am, because you know, when you are fighting a coward and he's already scared of you, he will give you the biggest left hook you've never seen, because he does not want a comeback, because he's scared of you. But when people don't fear you, I think it's better for me, because it means they would not pull all stops to try and make sure that they stop you. But if you are not scared of a team that is capable of scoring 11 goals in 3 matches, then there's something wrong with you. The truth is, I think I have failed a lot in many things in my life. And the reason why I failed is because I've got one drive. And that has made me not to have a very balanced lifestyle, because I'm one person who likes winning, and I've always thought winning is everything. And because I always want to put myself in the podium and win as much as I can. Possibly to try and follow to a certain extent my names, because they are a driving force as well. I want to conquer as much as I can. And I like it when I conquer and I'm not feared, you know, because it means I can continuously conquer, you know. So, but more than anything else, what has brought me to football, it's because there are things that I love in football. One of them is winning. And the second is goals. I like to see goals in football, any form of goals. Be it it's a counter-attack, it's a set piece, it's a transition, I just like to see goals. And even as a young boy, when I go to the stadium, when people say, hey, it was a very good match, but it was 0-0, I was always on the other side, because I went to a match to see someone winning and to see goals. And I think that is always something that I've always had. And I like part of it because I don't think I come out as a person that is arrogant, but I try the best I can to do what I can do with what I have. I always have a lot of respect for coaches that have coached at almost all the levels of football. I always have a lot of respect for those coaches because they are not talking about something they don't know. They have experienced it. There are a lot of people that have got so much to say in football, but they are so limited because they have not really experienced practically to coach in environments that may not have anything to support you, but you're still expected to bring the results. And Clinton, his journey is probably as close as possible to my journey in football. I think he has coached in almost all the levels in football. LFA football, development football, SAB League, ABC Motsepe League, NFD, and all these levels. And when he talks, I think I always listen because I know it's coming from not just knowledge, but wisdom. So I have a lot of respect for that. And I'm going to this match with a coach that I know he's not sitting in his laurels. He's trying to find the best possible solutions to deal with what everybody thinks is a favorite. And he's always done very well. And I've shared these stories with the players because I want them to know they are not playing just any other coach. When he was at Bloemfontein Celtics, I think it was in one of my first seasons here, he took us out of the MTN 8 with 5 goals because we were too big and we thought we don't deserve to concede, and we went helter-skelter, opened, and he scored the second, he scored the third. By the time we realized it was 5-0. And it's the same coach that has won this trophy, though it was called Telkom at that time, against Sundowns, with a Celtics team of John Mokhorosi and those guys. And we know the type of a coach we are playing against. And for me, these are usually the most difficult matches. I never leave any stone unturned when it comes to these matches because where everybody expects you to win, for me, those are the most difficult matches to win. Because even when you win, it's a by the way. But when you lose, it's a spectacle. And that is the most important thing for me when we're playing matches like this. And I respect Clinton so much as a coach because I know he may not have as much resources, but with the little bit that he has, he knows what it means to beat a favorite as an underdog. And I've been there many times as well. I think this win for me will probably be the same as any other win that we've had in every match that we have played. Because I never want to downplay any match or to hype any match, because in football I've learned that you must just respect every match as it is, regardless whether it's a cup final, it's a friendly, it's what, because what you repeatedly do, you become. And good habits of winning every match help you to win against an underdog or a favorite or a big team or a small team. It's very important to develop habits of trying to win every match that you play, because it helps you not to always deal with issues, whether they are extrinsic or intrinsic in terms of motivation. You must just fight to win the match that is in front of you. And I think that helps, because that habit will also help us to go into a Champions League match with a little bit more maybe confidence, a little bit more desire, and maybe a little bit more in terms of having developed that winning mentality and pushed to a level of even winning a cup match or a cup final. Maybe let me start on the 50th. I was so excited for him because besides being a very good goalkeeper, I think he's a very good human being. I think he's an ideal athlete, maybe an epitome of a good athlete and a good leader. For him to go that far with all the injuries that he has had in his career at his young age, because Ronwin has had a lot of injuries that have always tried to destabilize his career. The shoulder has been coming in and out, and the knee. He's had all these things that maybe if it was somebody else, he would have said, let me leave this thing is too much. And maybe leave even before joining a club like Sundowns. And for him to go all the way he has done, and cement his place in the national team the way he has done, cement his place in the team the way he has done, I think it's something that a whole lot of youngsters should try and learn from. And it is also iconic to have players from the same club following each other like that in terms of getting to the 50th cap. But I still believe he can make 100. And I'll be happier when he gets to more than 100. Going into the Magesi team, because I respect every opponent, and I'm always scared of the opponents that are not favored. I'm always scared of those because they always pull surprises. So I try to dig as deep as I can and look at each and every individual and know their team probably more than I know my team sometimes. Because as it is now, I can tell you the starting 11 and the potential substitutes and everything that they can play in this match. And I know how difficult it's going to be to deal with that Manqoba up front. I know 𝘾𝙍𝙍𝙁𝙀 is going to be causing a lot of problem with his left foot. 𝘆𝙆𝙍𝙁𝙁 is a big problem in the midfield because he breaks down most of attacks. They've got Mashego on the right, who is running for every ball and very instrumental even assisting them defensively. They've got an Abrahams as a right back who I think is one of the most influential and underrated players in the PSL. I saw him even last year when we played against Tuks. He was very influential as an offensive player, but now he's playing as a right back. They've got Chiramandare, who is very lazy on the left, but very dangerous offensively because when he comes out, he's a very important player offensively for them. So I think he reserves the energy for that because he's very influential offensively. And in their back four, you've got a Mokone on the side, on the left, and another Mokone as a right centre back. You've got a 𝘾𝙍𝙍𝙁 who is a very good goalkeeper and he works very hard. He knows what he's doing. We know what to expect. And we just have to be focused and keep our levels of motivation at the right level, because games like those are very difficult because you have to dig very deep. Like I said, if you win it, by the way. But if you lose it, you must know you are in the news. So it's a very tough game. I don't want to lie to you. You just have to respect every opponent. And in football, you'll always have your short winter blanket. If you want to score more goals, something has to give. But it would be nice to watch a game where the other team scores 7, the other one scores 6. But if you know you can score 7 and win it, it's always better. But still, be that as it may, we know our rest defense has to be on point. We know our counter pressures should be on point, and we know our transition threats that we must always be worried about. Every time we're in possession, we must always know where is Chiramandare, where is Manqoba, because those players are very important in transition. And Julian Mekua sometimes playing in a double pivot scenario, but he's often found in offensive positions and it creates a lot of problems. Kakore also adds in that offensive threat of theirs. But I always say in football we must always do what we can do. If we can score as many goals to win the match, then let them score one maybe. But if you don't score any goal and they score one, what will happen? So that short winter blanket is very important to understand that sometimes you have to do what you have to do to try and win the match. Not to say I want to now how do I make sure that I guard against a counter-attack only, because I know their counter-attacking threat is there, but they will not have counter-attacks if I don't have the ball. So what am I doing with the ball if I'm not trying to attack them? It says we must be worried about our football, because the gap between the NFD and the PSL is very small. Sometimes the gap between the 𝘾𝙍𝙍𝙊𝙍𝙁 and the PSL can be very small. I've seen a lot of games, and I've seen sometimes I even say a lot of players in South Africa are overrated, because when you look at them very closely, let me just give you a Magesi for an example. You look at that squad. It was their NFD squad. Yes, it has got a 𝘾𝙍𝙍𝙍 who has played in the PSL. It has got Julian Mekua, who has played in the PSL. It has got a 𝘆𝙍𝙍𝙍 who has played in the PSL. It has got Manqoba, who has played in the PSL, and 𝘋𝙍𝙍𝙍 who has played in the PSL, and 𝘋𝙍𝙍𝙍𝙍 who has played in the PSL. But it's the team that they had in the NFD, like you are saying, and that is a very strong team. That is a very strong team that when I can bring you a big team and put it in front of you here and say man on man, one by one, look at this and look at this and say which of the two is stronger than the other. Then you will be surprised, I never thought a Magesi has got maybe stronger personnel than what I thought of all the other counterparts. So the reality in South African football is that we are not too worried about what happens technically. We are too concerned about everything else that is happening outside the pitch, and that is why we are not even bothered with the development of youngsters. And the teams that are working very hard on their developments, they are really showing their strength in the PSL, probably without much budgets. If you look at teams like Stellenbosch, they have been able to hold their own in the PSL without spending so much. You look at Cape Town City, they've done the same. How many players have they sold in the process? And you look at all these teams and you say, then what is the difference between smaller and bigger teams in the PSL? Probably we should try and invest a little bit more on our coaching, on our coaches, and maybe employing more people that can add value technically in the game. There are many teams that have got, maybe the administration staff is 3 times more than the technical staff. But it's a football game. We are football clubs. We must make sure that technically we leave no stone unturned. And I don't think most teams in the country are spending a lot of money technically. They are spending a lot of money in everything else that is around football. And that is going to be detrimental to many teams, because a lot of big things are still going to happen in the country where you will see big teams fighting for relegation, and you'll start saying, what is happening? Because the gap is very small. And maybe the teams that are at the bottom are working harder, because that's another issue, because in South Africa there are also a lot of players that have got this entitlement that they are playing in the PSL, but they are not working hard enough for their salaries and to sustain their jobs within the PSL teams. So there are many things that you can look at, but believe me, we have a lot of work to do. I want to urge you guys, do not be sensational and create stories out of nothing. You are the custodians of football as journalists. So you don't want to create negative connotations between players and their clubs unnecessarily. Because the question was, playing in a capacity crowd with Bafana, with the national team. And we know in the past the national team hardly had as many spectators as they are having now. But because some of you are very irresponsible. You just want to create sensationalism out of nothing. And the poor boy now must be expected to explain himself, why did I say this, why did I say this? When an adult decides to write a story that suits him and that does not care about what would happen when even our supporters get to hear that he said this, because they don't know the context, they don't know the question, and that for me is irresponsible journalism from you. And as for the support that you are questioning, the Yellow Nation, we have not complained as Sundowns about our supporters. We are very happy and we know they will be there, and whatever amount is enough to make us win the match. We always want to have those who can afford, because the climate economically is not very good. It's not easy for everyone to attend matches everywhere in the country, because financially people are constrained. So it is important to also accept that reality, that sometimes people don't go to the stadiums not because they don't want to be there, but because they don't have the resources to be there. Because to come to Bloemfontein as somebody from Pretoria who is not working, because people are not working, sometimes it's very difficult. But I'm very confident we will have a very good crowd in Bloemfontein. From our Yellow Nation, they have never let us down and they want us to win this one. So I'm very confident they will come in numbers. Wait and see.